Hello and welcome to Salem, Massachusetts. And it is a wonderful time to be alive, especially if you're white and male. And in this land of prosperity, freedom and liberty and no persecution.
Courtney,
yes?
you're going to have to come with us.
Why?
You have been accused of witchcraft.
Shit. Witchcraft. Magic. The occult. There was a craze in Europe from the 1300s to the 1600s where the citizens of Europe truly, honestly believed that supernatural forces could affect people, possess them, beguile them, and make them do the work of the devil. Not believing in witchcraft was like not believing in Wi-Fi. It was a very real thing. It was invisible. Not everyone understood it, but it was there. Tens of thousands of people were persecuted for witchcraft. Salem witch trials, everyone knows the name, and yet why is it such a huge thing for us when it was only 19-20 people in comparison to in Europe where we were just killing them off every second? In the 17th century, you could fit the population of America inside a large sports stadium. So killing off 20 people, that's like killing off a quarter of your population. Let's go back to the roots as to why the Salem witch trials started. Most of the population of America in those days were Puritans. This basically meant absolutely no fun. Like the fun police would shut you down if you were having any sort of joy in your life whatsoever. And these guys had escaped the persecution in England, and they'd gone across to New England to start this sort of new history on foreign shores. If you lived in New England, I mean, your house was going to be bare. It was going to be a bed, a bucket, and a book. And that book was definitely going to be the Bible. There was one guy who came all the way over from England, and he went to America, and he reported back saying, New Englanders could not make jest without adding a text or scripture at the end of it. So all these Puritans are going across this fantastic new land and they're going to set up this amazing providence. We get here and it's like, oh god, this place is actually quite shit, isn't it? Worse than being shit, it's terrifying. So suddenly this sort of Disneyland dream that these Puritans have quickly transforms into a nightmare. Anxiety was absolutely rife. Death was everywhere. And the Puritans were so afraid of losing control of this very strict society that they wanted to instill in this new chaotic world. And in this quagmire of ignorance, and then you tangled it all in with fear, obviously there were only two reasons for all this anxiety and all this fear. There were two obvious causes, and that was either going to be the savages or the devil. Amongst all the other complaints we have in this town, there are too many witches is Salem's number 3 complaint right behind and dying and everything hurts.
I think someone should probably do something about this.
Yes, like the governor maybe?
Yes, like the governor. The governor. I'm the governor, aren't I?
Yes.
Not to worry. I have a cunning plan.
Christ.
Gather everyone in the town, Courtney.
Generational, sexual, economical and religious tensions were just at their highest point in Salem. On one side you had the rich aristocratic people, and then you had the poor peasant farmers on the other side. So already they were splitting because of class differences. And then to make it worse, the farmers decided, do you know what, I think we'll divide in two as well. And the farmers started bickering. So obviously with all this tension, this bickering, this fighting, this is just the devil's playground. And what makes it even worse? Women. Women started acting differently, they started pushing their boundaries, and let's not forget, according to the Bible, women are much morally weaker than men, and are more prone to sin than men, and are more likely to accept a friend request from Satan on Facebook than men are. So the trials also came into play to suppress that fear that men had of women's independence.
You're probably wondering why I've gathered you all here today.
No, not really.
We are holding Salem's first annual witch trials.
I have a question.
Yes, Sarah.
Yeah?
No, the other Sarah.
Were you? No, I mean, I didn't have anything to say. But...
The Sarah with her hand up.
Go on. We came here to escape persecution, and honestly, I'm feeling incredibly attacked right now.
I mean,
Yes, Sarah.
Yes.
The the Sarah with her hand up.
that's me.
Oh, yeah, sorry, it wasn't me, no.
So, first of all, at Salem, we have, savages that want to come and...
Smallpox.
Killer.
Yeah.
And starvation.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. As we all know, Salem has 99 problems. But witchcraft is not going to be one of them. As your appointed governor... yes,
sorry.
John.
Yes.
Yes?
No, the John with his hand up.
How did you become governor? Because I didn't vote for you.
Ah, very good question. Courtney?
He was appointed governor by the King of England somehow.
By the King of England. Now, we are going to make Salem great again. I promise every one of you a fair trial. If all the women could just go outside, that would be great, so the men can decide your punishment. I mean, decide your trial.
Right, you heard the governor. If you have a vagina, get outside.
You should come out too.
Go on, go on.
Go on, Courtney.
If it's not bad enough that men are using this as an excuse to sort of put women in their place, even worse than that, we know that women were often accusers of other women, and worse than that, they used to pick on the most vulnerable people in society. The Salem witch trials started with 3 women being accused, and these 3 women were Tituba, Sarah, and Sarah. Tituba was a slave, Sarah Good was a poor beggar woman, and Sarah Osborne was one of the oldest women in all of Salem. If they didn't have bad enough lives already, to then be accused of witchcraft, that is like the cherry on their shit lives. So what is the absolute origin of the Salem witch trials? Well, 3 young girls in the town started being prone to fits.
It's gonna be alright. We'll see. It'll be okay.
Well, I am afraid I have terrible news.
Don't you have terrible news? What's wrong, Doctor?
With symptoms such as temporary confusion, a staring spell, uncontrollable jerking movements of the arms and legs, loss of consciousness or awareness, psychotic symptoms, dazed behavior, memory gaps, sudden falls, and sudden stomach pain following confusion and sleepiness.
What's your diagnosis, Doctor?
The only possible diagnosis is witchcraft. That happens a lot around here.
I'm sorry, did you just say witchcraft? Couldn't it be something more realistic, like epilepsy?
Silence! Woman, would you please point to the doctor in the room? As a doctor, there is nothing I can do for you. I will go find you a priest.
3 young girls, aged between 9 and 11 years old, who were having these seizure-type fits, become the main accusers. So starting in March, Tituba, Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne are all taken to court and they are imprisoned and interrogated under the charge of witchcraft. The 2 Sarahs, Sarah Osborne and Sarah Good, they both claim innocence. They say that it's an absolute lie, that they are not witches, as any normal person would do. However, Tituba confesses to witchcraft. She claims that she had signed a contract with the devil, and even worse than this, she also claims that she saw both the other Sarahs doing the exact same thing. The moment this got out, that seed of paranoia was planted and there was no escaping from the wildfire that would follow. It wasn't just vulnerable members, it wasn't old hags and slaves and beggar women who could be witches. No, suddenly high up members of the church started getting accused of witchcraft. And this made the Salemers think, oh my god, if members of the church can be accused of witchcraft, then anyone can be a witch. The court system was an absolute mess in those days, and they were constantly changing what was real, what wasn't, what they accepted as evidence. Were you guilty? Were you innocent? What's a great way to get a confession? And could you actually believe that someone had confessed to witchcraft after they'd been tortured for 4 months? Honestly, the evidence that they accepted during these trials was absolutely insane. Some of the evidence they accepted was...
Sarah Johnson, you are being accused of witchcraft. And we'd like to call the first witness to the stand, Dr. John Johnson.
My husband. Honey.
Sorry.
Calling witness Goody Ra to the stand.
Witness me!
We call to the stand witness Sarah Phipps.
What, your wife?
Calling to the stand witness Courtney.
That's not my name.
What evidence do you possess? Give your evidence. What evidence do you possess?
I saw Goody Johnson colluding with the devil.
Last Sunday in church, I saw you saying the Lord's Prayer and you said it incorrectly, so please prove to us that you know the Lord's Prayer now.
My wife possesses a blemish upon her body that is clearly the mark of the devil.
You did that. That was you last night. Why are you watching me in church? It's weird.
I don't ask about your hobbies.
She was dancing hand in hand with him. She was fornicating with the devil.
Whoa, whoa, there she is. There is Sarah the bitch. You're a f***ing liar.
Witch trials, Sarah. Witch, not bitch. Witch with a W.
Oh, the bitch trial.
Next Tuesday.
Oh, my bad. Well, she's definitely a witch.
Give us this day our daily bread, and we give up those who trespass against us.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? She stammered. She definitely stammered there, and that is the sign of the devil within
You
her.
stammered?
Calling to the stand witness Sir John Ra.
She owns a cat.
Nice.
You stammered. But I'm not on trial for witchcraft here. It's you who's on trial for witchcraft.
Okay, can we just stop the ruckus?
When did you see this? When? Last night.
No, you did not.
I was baking a pie. I might have been asleep at the time. Oh, yes, I was definitely asleep.
Definitely the devil's kiss, a mark of witchcraft.
Sarah, how can I be a witch? My family have been here since 1532.
So has syphilis.
Yeah, well, you're pretty tight with one of those things, aren't you?
You wait till I come down off this bit. You come down. Wait,
Snatch that hat right off. So you didn't see it? Yes, I did.
Still evidence.
And you're not gonna.
Evidence accepted.
Oh!
Evidence accepted.
What? Ha! Oh. Get wrecked, Sarah. Sarah, I swear.
This is the worst day of my life.
Is it because you're being accused of witchcraft?
No, it's a little bit humid and my hair's freezing. Yes, it's because I'm being accused of witchcraft.
Coming up. Let's do it. I want you to get excited about your life.
Here we go, in 10.
Stand by camera 6. If it's happening now, we're going to deal with it now. This is going to be a changing day in your life. Camera here, need one here. I'm putting cameras everywhere to see what really happens behind closed doors. I am moving in with you.
Goody Ra, today you stand accused of witchcraft.
I didn't mean to make those puppets. Well, I did, but only because my daughter, she's sick. She has epilepsy.
Cool motive, still witchcraft. Today we have done a trial by cake. We have taken a sample of your urine and placed it into this cake. We then fed this cake to a dog, because as we all know, dogs are a familiar of the devil. And the results are in. Thank you, Courtney. The dog has decided you are not a witch.
Yes! You, Sarah! Get Sarah! Get rid of you and your shitty town could burn in hell!
Well, Sarah, it's time for the verdict of your trial. Are you nervous? I hear that the judge is bloodthirsty.
Wait, you're the judge.
Yes. But I'm sure there is nothing to worry about. If you just plead guilty, no
Wait,
harm.
she pleads guilty?
Yes.
No, she needs to plead innocent.
Wait.
No, when was that changed?
No, the laws were changed last week.
Why would the governor do that?
I don't know, why would you do that?
I'm the governor.
You're the governor, that's fine.
Still you,
I can
yeah.
look this up and... So...
Wait, no, do I do innocent? Do I do guilty? Do I...
You could do guilty. I don't think it's appropriate, but you could.
No, innocent, guilty. Oh, what am I doing? Like...
Quiet witch.
I'm afraid we're out of time.
Just smile and wave.
Here we go.
Great.
So the Salem witch trials lasted a year. And how did they come to an end? Well, Governor Phipps at the time, his wife, was accused of witchcraft, and then suddenly he declared that the witch trials were ended and it was all getting a little bit silly and out of hand. Funny that.
Sarah, you stand accused of witchcraft. How do you plead?
Not guilty.
Well, we will see about that. We have a witness here today, calling to the stand, witness Governor William Phipps.
Sugar Bear. Don't you think this has all gone a bit far? This is all just a little bit silly? So far, we have hanged 19 people. Mistakes were made.
Murder. Murder was made.
Okay, I don't have time for a history lesson, Doctor. As Governor of Salem, I call the witch trials off. Everybody go home. Thanks to you, Sarah. Stop this ruckus.
Thanks, babe.
You're welcome, babe.
So in this really clumsy administration of justice, over 200 people were accused of witchcraft. Brothers accusing sisters, sisters accusing mothers, some mothers accusing their neighbours, and then the neighbours accusing the dog. 14 women were put to death, 5 men were put to death, and 2 dogs were put to death. The youngest person accused of being a witch was 5 years old. The oldest person being accused was 80. And damn, if you managed to make it to 80 in the 1600s, you don't deserve to be accused of being a witch. You deserve a medal. Thinking about it, that's probably why they thought she was a witch, because they probably thought she was using witchcraft to just like live forever. Why is it that when tens of thousands of people were being executed in Europe, we are so fixated on the Salem witch trials? Because there's no real explanation as to why it happened, yet we can make educated guesses as to why this hysteria happened. Obviously all these pressures and this fear and anxiety, but why these girls suddenly had bizarre fits? Some people say it was a fungus infection in the wheat. If we had clear, concise evidence as to why this mass hysteria happened in Salem, we might not be so obsessed by it. It is that wonderful mystery that has been left behind, these smoke-tinged rumours as to why these New Englanders suddenly went insane with witch hunting. And because of the lack of evidence, the beautiful thing is that you can sort of conclude your own theories on the Salem witch trials, and here's mine. If you are growing up in a Puritan society where the only form of music is hymns and your only book is the Bible, and you're not even allowed toys as a child, that's against the law. If you can suddenly have witch trials, this is like the best entertainment, the most fun thing that is going to happen in your very, very short life. And so the Salem witch trials for the New Englanders was essentially like their form of Netflix. The truly scary thing about the Salem witch trials is that every single person in that village, from the judges, the governors, the children, they all truly believed that the devil had come to Salem. Now, if you'll excuse me, like all the other villagers have caught up on all the latest trials, and I'm a couple of hangings behind, so I'm gonna go binge watch a couple of confessions. And until next time, stay spooky. Ooh.